Manchester United fans, some breaking transfer news. Benjamin Sesko is tonight in discussions with Newcastle United over an imminent move that's going to cost around £65 million. It looks like one of United's primary transfer targets this window, Benjamin Sesko. It looks like he's on the verge of rejecting Manchester United to sign for Newcastle United. Now, I did predict this in a video that I did a couple of days ago that I will link in the description, where I explain why Benjamin Sesko actually probably isn't the best option for Manchester United at a price of 65 to 70 million pounds. But nevertheless, in that video, I did predict that he'd end up going to Newcastle because they'd be able to pay him a lot more money and offer him a lot more favourable terms. If you look on the screen here tonight, Craig Hope, from the Daily Mail, the chief football correspondent who's been pretty much nailed on and on the money on all matters Newcastle this entire win. And Newcastle, by the way, have had an absolutely shocking window. If you're a Newcastle United fan, your window needs to start tonight because Newcastle's window has been absolutely appalling, right? But here we go. Newcastle are tonight pushing hard to agree a deal with Leipzig for Benjamin Sesko after encouragement today that he wants to join. So the story was last night, Newcastle gave Sesko 24 hours to decide whether he wanted to join or not. They've obviously stuck a huge amount of money in front of him. It's now looking like Sesko is prepared to take the money and go to Newcastle United fans. Newcastle fans, hit me up in the comment section. Man United fans, hit me up in the comment section. Man United fans are going to be absolutely distraught. But I'm going to tell you something, Man United fans. I know you guys are absolutely desperate to get rid of Rasmus Højlund, okay? But again, I will link you to a video in the description box where we looked at Benjamin Sesko's stats in detail. We looked at his XG/XA versus the other strikers, the other top strikers in the league. You can see the table here where we look at his XG/XA compared to Gyökeres, Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe, Lewandowski, Isak, Haaland, the best in the business, all right? And we go through in detail, a little bit of detail, why Benjamin Sesko at 21 years old is a project, right? He's a project. He's not what Man United are looking for, in my opinion, in terms of the 3 Ps. Prem, proven, prolific, right? Again, Manchester United don't have time for projects as it stands right now. Ruben Amorim's under a lot of pressure. Manchester United need to be winning games out of the gate. So if you're interested in that video where we look into a little bit more of the stats and a little bit more of the details, please have a look for that. But at the minute, Man United fans will be in panic stations because they are absolutely desperate, right, Manchester United fans, to get rid of this gentleman here, Rasmus Højlund. And again, the ironic thing about Manchester United fans wanting to replace Sesko with Højlund, is again, this is a very, very shallow comparison. But if you look at their profiles, they're actually not too dissimilar in the way that they're both 22 years old, right? And if you look at their goal scoring records, neither of them particularly have a proven track record of being prolific. Remember, Manchester United spent £70 million ish, give or take, 60 to 70 on Rasmus Højlund, coming off 9 goals in 32 games in Atalanta. Most Man United fans will tell you that Rasmus Højlund is an absolute donkey and one of the worst number 9s to ever play for Man United. I've heard Man United fans turn around and say that Wout Weghorst, was a better number 9, or added more to the team than Rasmus Højlund, who is also known as, what do they call him? The wrestler. That's what they call him. They call him the wrestler, WWE wrestler. What do I call him? I call him Bumland is my favourite name. I honestly, I am with Man United fans on Rasmus Højlund. I do think they haven't managed to exploit his pace. He's one of the fastest strikers in Europe, and they haven't managed to exploit Højlund's pace in behind. But United fans are fucking desperate to get rid of this guy. But just because you're desperate to get rid of Højlund, I'm not sure you should be spending money on Sesko at this stage. Again, details in the video below. Newcastle at this point are in a completely different situation because they have a player in Isak who absolutely positively wants out of the football club and wants to go to Liverpool ASAP. As you can see, Eddie Howe doesn't even know. Eddie Howe doesn't know what Alexander Isak's going to be doing on a day-to-day basis. He doesn't know if he's going to be showing up for training. He doesn't know if he shows up for training, if he's going to be training the team. He doesn't know where he's going to be training. Like, Eddie Howe is literally like a blind man walking around. Stevie Wonder's probably got more peripheral vision right now, in terms of what's on Alexander Isak's schedule than Eddie Howe does right now. So as far as I'm concerned, It's quite clear that Isak is going to go to Liverpool and that Liverpool are going to make a second bid, which is why Newcastle are absolutely desperate now to push on for Sesko. I think Sesko's a project, as I've said before. He's not a prolific striker. He's not the finished Premier League proven article that I believe Manchester United need. One thing I will say is quickly, I believe this means now, if Sesko goes to Newcastle United, what I now believe will happen is, I believe that Rasmus Højlund will actually end up starting for Manchester United at Old Trafford against Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time. And that's the new story that you need to watch out for if you're a Manchester United fan. I know last night you had Cunha, Mbeumo, and Bruno Fernandes up front in the three, and they were all rotating together. But I tell you something, Arsenal's backline, Saliba, Gabriel, and some of their midfielders, they're extremely physical. And you saw in yesterday's friendly against Everton when Man United tried to go long, when they couldn't build out from the back properly and they tried to go long, and Mbeumo isn't that physical presence to sort of pluck aerial balls out of the air and control aerial balls out of the air, and nor is Cunha and nor is Fernandes. So you see United, they lack physicality and they lack size, when they're running with those three up front. So I'm telling you now, cuss me out, call me a moron, call me a bastard, call me all the abuse you want. If Sesko ends up going to Newcastle United, do not be surprised if Rasmus Højlund starts the game against Arsenal, because like I said, Arsenal got very physical defense, very, very physical back line. And I don't think that Mbeumo, Cunha and Fernandes in a front three is enough to combat that physicality. This isn't Everton in a preseason game, in a meaningless preseason game, in the fucking Summer League series. This is real fucking football, real football. So that's my opinion on that. Rasmus Højlund, in my opinion, listen, Leipzig specifically asked for Rasmus Højlund in a swap deal with Benjamin Sesko, right? So Man United fans, if you're looking for someone to blame, if Sesko doesn't join, if you're looking for someone to blame this guy, Højlund, in my opinion. Leipzig specifically asked for him, as per Fabrizio Romano. You can see here, as per Fabrizio Romano, Leipzig specifically asked for Højlund, and Højlund turned around and said he doesn't want to leave. Højlund's within his rights to do that. But again, if you look at Højlund's record in the Premier League, 9 goals in 32 games. Really, at some point, Rasmus Højlund probably has to do the right thing, look at himself and say, I'm not good enough to be at this football club. Because this is a football club that's not in Europe. This is a football club that's lost a lot of revenue from not being in Europe. And it's a football club that needs goals ASAP. And Højlund has turned down the chance to rebuild, and instead he's basically blocked another striker from joining his football club. That's the reality of what's going on. So look, it is what it is on that one. Drop me a comment. Let me know your thoughts. As it stands, Sesko is in discussions with Newcastle. Again, as I did predict, because I just felt that while the player preferred Manchester United, I'm not saying Sesko, I believe Sesko's dream was to join Man United. I think Newcastle at the moment are absolutely desperate. Liverpool are about to come in with a £135 million bid for Alexander Isak. They need to buy Weezer and they need to buy somebody else to go along with him. And I just think they've gone and offered Sesko a bunch of money and a bunch of favourable personal terms. Please, if you're interested in no filter, no bullshit football chat, straight to the point, please feel free to subscribe, drop me a comment. And again, if you are interested in the stats on about why Sesko probably isn't the right fit for a club like Manchester United at this point, you can see them on the screen. If you look at the video right now, you should see a link. Click on that link. It will take you to that video. I will see you next time.